welcome to my quick and effective guide to aesthetic note taking. So today I'm going to be talking all about taking notes, going from paper to digital, and all the supplies I recommend. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a cup of tea, and let's get started. So we're going to be starting off with my favorite writing tools. My number one recommendation to buy is the Miniso copy of the Myliner. These bad boys are actually much cheaper compared to the original ones here in India, and they work exactly the same. They have the thick tip in the front and the thin tip on the back, whose cap is a little tight actually. But they work exactly the same. Plus they come in every single color as the original Myliners. My second recommendation has to be the Muji gel pen. I know Muji is so overpriced, but these pens are actually the smoothest that I've ever used. So I love the 0.3 tip size because the pen body is just the exact same thickness as the Apple Pencil, so it's really comfortable for me. Plus it's nice, precise, and I've never really seen it stop. My next pen recommendation will be the Muji Click Gel in the 0.5 tip size. This pen is really smooth. The tip size is not too thick, too thin. I've never really seen it stop, just like the other Muji pen. It's really high quality. And once again, it comes in a whole bunch of colors. The pentel fudenosuke brush pen in the small tip size is just perfect for doing calligraphy headers. And if you want them, you're gonna have to order them off Amazon because I've never seen them in store in India. The best paper that I've personally used is the Muji Grid P5 size paper, and although it only fits in the Muji binders, this paper is extremely high quality and super smooth. Plus this whole binder system doesn't really allow paper to tear up like in the 2-hole binders. The only problem that I ever had with this paper is the amount of show through at the back. So how has my style evolved? Well, I went from the semi-cornell to the study blur aesthetic from Tumblr, and finally digital note taking on the iPad. So the reason why I call this method the semi-cornell is because unlike the actual cornell method, I don't take the summaries. So I would take regular printer paper and I would fold it at the side just to make a margin and draw a line with a pen, and then do the same as the usual cornell. So the reason why I can't write summaries is just because I never know what to summarize really, and back in school we used to have this note-taking question where out of 10 I'd get 9.5 every time, and when I'd go to complain like why is this a 9.5 because my notes are perfect, my teacher would always say it's because I cannot summarize. So I start by writing a header, nothing fancy, just a header with a highlighter or a sketch pen, and on the margin I would just put down first topic heading. And yes, I know you can see my head because I have horrible posture while writing, but please sit with a straight back when you're doing this. So I put it in a nice ribbon banner and then take my notes in bullet points. So technically the reason why I didn't write a summary here was because my notes really were a summary. Like I would practically summarize all the important points from the textbook. I would always take notes from textbook. My in-class notes were in a separate notebook which was horribly ugly and unorganized, so I used to summarize all the important points from both of them in here. So whenever I have to do another topic, I'll just put another ribbon banner with a heading in it, and that would start the next topic. And sometimes if I felt fancy or if I had the time to, while I was doing physics, basically procrastinating, I would also color in the ribbon banners. At this point I never really focused on aesthetics of the notes, I just wanted to write things down so I can remember them. So one of the things that I just loved about this note-taking style was these danger boxes. 10 minutes before the exam, I'm standing outside of the room and panicking, going through these papers and like, what do I need to know? So these danger boxes had all the dangerous topics in them which I knew I was either bound to forget or which I knew would attack me. I would put in different questions that I knew my teacher said 3 weeks ago that this might show up in the paper, and 90% of the time they really did. Chemical formulae, physics formulas that I was totally bound to forget. So everything went in these, and these were actually super helpful. So yeah, these notes were effective, however, extremely messy. As the name suggests, this style was highly inspired by the aesthetics of the study blur community. At this point, I was really focused on making my notes pretty more than I was on them being effective. So I would start by writing a super fancy header with a calligraphy brush pen or even watercolors and a paintbrush because it was just that extra. And to accentuate the heading, I would make a line across it with the help of a highlighter. In the corner, I will put a date and the page number of the textbook that I was referring to at that time. Then I would write down the first subtopic and all the points underneath it would go in bullets. So at this point I didn't really know how to summarize things and sort what was important and what was not, so I was practically writing everything at that time. I would also include in little boxes which look like they were taped or maybe pinned sometimes just for the aesthetic, and I would put in little notes like go through this, or if you want to read more about it just go to this page number and all that reference. If a topic took very little space, I would just add in a line and start the next topic right next to it. This method made me super popular because everybody was concerned about how pretty my notes were, and as much as I loved the attention, I hated how my notes really were. And just to be that extra person, I would either print out pictures or even draw in my own diagrams, and all of the headings and the important words were always highlighted. Another way in which I would write the headings is where I put in a heading and draw a line that goes across the page just to show that a major topic has started, underneath which I would do my normal headers with just a word, highlighter line going through it, and bullet points underneath. So in this note-taking style, you can put in a whole bunch of things. You can print out pictures, you can draw Venn diagrams, just do what you want. And the main thing that makes these notes super pretty is my handwriting, which took me so long to master. I had to work so hard on this, but the results were good. And by the time I had moved to college, I had also moved on from paper to the iPad Pro. It has given me so much ease in note taking because I never have to worry. I mean, instead of carrying all of this, I only need one of this. On the iPad, I love using the app GoodNotes because the way everything is organized in files and folders just makes a lot of sense to me. This app has offered me so much of ease because you can do anything you want. For example, solving worksheets. You no longer have to print anything out, solve it, scan it, upload it, and then send it. You can directly do it on the iPad and just send it off. So a lot of Apple users prefer putting on screen protectors which have a paper-like feel to them just because they miss writing on paper so much. But personally, I really felt the need for it because writing on the iPad is so smooth. It's kind of addictive actually. So my favorite feature about GoodNotes has to be how you can adjust everything to whatever preference you like. So you can adjust the pen size, which I love using in 0.4 or 0.32 tip size. And you can also get the highlighters in a whole bunch of colors. You can choose one or have one of the presets if you'd like. And once again, you can also adjust the highlighter to any size that you want. The best thing is you can also play around with images. So you can add in your own diagrams, you can move them around. Everything here is so easy. So in GoodNotes, you can choose the paper to be of any size that you want or any type. You can have plain, squared, ruled, planner type music sheets, and you also get a whole bunch of cover options. My last favorite feature about GoodNotes is that you can access your notes not just on the iPad, but you can also access and edit them on the MacBook on the GoodNotes app. And I know the iPad is amazing, but the thing is I miss paper so much. And last semester I actually gave into the urge and bought myself a whole bunch of muji supplies and took one class on paper. So what exactly has changed in my note-taking style? Well, now I've started adding in small question boxes where I ask myself a question related to the topic and then I also answer it. I also try not to focus too much on super aesthetic headers. I add in little term boxes with all the new things that I learn. Another thing that I've learned about myself is that I can learn best when I'm explaining things to myself, and I, for the life of me, can never remember what I said. So having things in flowcharts and diagrams really helps me explain things to myself, and since it's written, I can remember it. I also have small mnemonic boxes for memorization. In the end, going through all these years of note-taking has only helped me learn more about my learning style. And I really hope this video helps you learn about your style too. There's a whole bunch of tips here you can take up and integrate into your own notes. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video, subscribe, and if you want, you can leave in a comment with any suggestions and requests. Bye!